每天练习英文5分钟，流利英文交谈不是梦。
Now, let's get started. Today, let's talk about the new U.S. food pyramid for 2026. Public and expert reactions to the 2026 U.S. food pyramid are split. While supporters welcome the common sense move toward whole foods and away from ultra-processed products, many health experts argue that prioritizing red meat and full-fat dairy contradicts heart health science and creates confusion regarding the guidelines' own saturated fat limits. Before we dive into the topic, a quick heads up. If you enjoy this, definitely like, subscribe, and share it around. Now, let's go!
Hey Ava, have you seen the new U.S. food pyramid for 2026? People at work keep talking about it.
Yeah, I read about it. It's very different from the old one, and a lot of experts are really worried about it.
Worried? I thought new guidelines usually mean more vegetables, less junk food. What's so different this time?
Well, this time the pyramid puts a big focus on protein, especially meat and full-fat dairy. Red meat, whole milk, cheese, and even animal fats are shown as very important parts of the diet.
Wait, really? I always heard we should limit red meat and choose low-fat milk.
That's exactly why many nutritionists are shocked. For years, guidelines told people to cut down on saturated fat. But now the new pyramid gives a lot of space to meat, eggs, and full-fat dairy.
So, where do vegetables and whole grains go now? Are they still important?
They're still there, but they don't feel like the main stars anymore. The base idea is protein at every meal, and plants look more like a side, not the center.
That sounds confusing. I thought a balanced diet meant more plants, less animal fat.
You're not alone. Some experts say the new pyramid sends mixed messages, especially for heart health. They worry that telling people to eat more red meat and full-fat dairy could increase the risk of heart disease for many Americans.
So, the pyramid looks good if you love steak and cheese, but maybe not great for your arteries.
Exactly. And they even give more attention to things like butter and beef talawas, traditional fats, which really scares some cardiologists.
Wow, what about sugar and processed food? Do they still say to cut those down?
Yes. That part is still strict. The new guidelines keep saying to limit added sugar and ultra-processed snacks. And they push water instead of sugary drinks. That's one part most experts agree with.
Okay, at least that makes sense. But you said experts are also worried about the environment. Why is that?
Because the new pyramid doesn't really talk about sustainability. There's almost nothing about climate impact or choosing more plant-based foods to protect the planet. Many public health groups say this is a big missed chance.
Right. I've heard that producing meat, especially beef, uses a lot of land and water and creates more emissions.
Exactly. Some organizations were hoping the 2026 guidelines would clearly encourage people to eat more plant-rich meals for both health and the climate. But instead, they see an even stronger push for meat and dairy.
So, in short, the pyramid is more meat, more full-fat dairy, strong on protein, quiet about sustainability.
That's a good way to say it. And experts worry that powerful food industries have too much influence on these decisions. They are concerned that economic interests come before long-term health.
That's kind of scary. People trust these guidelines. Many schools and hospitals follow them, right?
Yes, and that's another big concern. If school lunches, military meals, and public programs all shift toward more red meat and full-fat dairy, The effect could be huge for millions of people.
I can see why experts are making noise, but what about mental health or emotional eating? Is there anything about that?
Not much. The pyramid is still mostly about what to eat, not how we eat. There's very little about mindful eating, food marketing, or stress and emotional eating, even though these are big parts of real life.
So, people get a strong message. More meat, more dairy, less sugar, but not much help with habits or feelings.
Yes. Some specialists say that without guidance on behavior and environment, many people will just feel more confused or guilty instead of truly changing.
So, what are you going to do with these new guidelines? Follow them or ignore them?
I'll read them, but I won't follow them blindly. Many experts say people should still think about long-term evidence, more plants, less processed food, and moderation with animal fats, especially if heart disease runs in the family.
Yeah, that sounds safer. Maybe I'll use the pyramid as information, but not as a strict rule.
That's a smart approach. Listen to your doctor, look at the science, and remember that food guidelines can change, but your health has to last your whole life.
Good point. I guess for tonight. I'll still have my grilled chicken and salad, not a giant steak swimming in butter.
That sounds like a good compromise. Your heart will probably thank you later. Useful phrases to memorize. 1. What's so different this time? Meaning. Asking what has changed compared with before. Usage. Used when something is updated or repeated, and you want to know the new part. Example. What's so different this time? 2. For years. Meaning. For a long time. Over many years. Usage. Often used before a sentence to show a long-term habit, rule, or belief. Example. For years, guidelines told people to cut down on saturated fat, but now the new pyramid gives a lot of space to meat, eggs, and full-fat dairy. 3. You're not alone. Meaning. Other people feel the same. Your confusion or feeling is common. Usage. Used to comfort someone or show empathy. Example. You're not alone. Some experts say the new pyramid sends mixed messages, especially for heart health. 4. That's a good way to say it. Meaning, you explained it clearly. Your description is accurate. Usage. Used to agree with someone's summary or wording. Example. That's a good way to say it. 5. That's kind of scary. Meaning. That makes me worried. That is a little frightening or serious. Usage. Used for serious, worrying facts, not horror. Example. That's kind of scary. People trust these guidelines. 6. Personally, I would. Meaning, in my own opinion, this is what I think or would do. Usage. Good for giving opinions politely and clearly. Example. Personally, I would. Put fruits, vegetables, and whole grains back at the center. 7. I won't follow them blindly. Meaning, I will not follow them without thinking or questioning. Usage. Useful for talking about rules, trends, or advice you want to check first. Example. I'll read them, but I won't follow them blindly. 8. That sounds safer. Meaning, that seems like a less risky and better choice. Usage. Used to react positively to a more careful option. Example. Yeah, that sounds safer. Maybe I'll use the pyramid as information, but not as a strict rule. 9. That's a smart approach. Meaning, that is a clever and reasonable way to do something. Usage, used to praise someone's way of thinking or plan. Example, that's a smart approach. Listen to your doctor. Look at the science. 10. Your heart will probably thank you later. Meaning, your body or health will benefit in the future from this good choice. Usage, often used humorously to encourage healthy habits. Example, that sounds like a good compromise. Your heart will probably thank you later. Useful vocabulary to memorize. 1. Nutritionist. Meaning, a person trained in food and nutrition who advises about healthy eating. Usage, used when talking about expert opinions on diet and health. Example, that's exactly why many nutritionists are shocked. 2. Saturated fat. Meaning, a type of fat found in foods like butter, cheese, and red meat, often linked to heart disease when eaten in large amounts. Usage, common term in health and diet discussions. Example, for years, guidelines told people to cut down on saturated fat, but now the new pyramid gives a lot of space to meat, eggs, and full-fat dairy. 3. Ultra-processed. Meaning, very heavily processed in factories with many added ingredients like sugar, salt, and chemicals. Usage, used in modern discussions about modern junk foods. Example, the new guidelines keep saying to limit added sugar and ultra-processed snacks. 4. Sustainability. Meaning, using resources in a way that can continue long-term without harming the planet. Usage, common when talking about environment, climate, and food systems. Example, because the new pyramid does not really talk about sustainability. 5. Public health. Meaning, the health of the population as a whole, not just one person. Usage, used when discussing government health policies and big health problems. Example, many public health groups say this is a big missed chance. 6. Cardiologist. Meaning, a doctor who is a heart specialist. Usage, used in health discussions about heart disease and heart care. Example, which really scares some cardiologists. 7. Moderation. Meaning, not too much and not too little. A balanced amount. Usage, often used in health and lifestyle advice. Example, and moderation with animal fats, especially if heart disease runs in the family. Great work! You crushed it! Let's keep that momentum going by focusing on mastering just a couple of phrases a day. It's those small wins that build true fluency over time. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much. See you next time.